Hello! Welcome, my friends. I'm so glad you're back for our third day of our wearable paper circuits and our paper circuits summer. If you are looking for projects to do, you should check out our YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe because we are here all summer long, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. From 9 to 10 we're live, but you can come back and you can check out all of our cool projects and you can make lots of paper circuit projects, and they will all require the same materials, which we'll go over in a second. And if you're here, make sure to type in the comments box either on YouTube or in Zoom that you're here so you can get a shout out, because I would love to say hello to all of our friends who are there. And if you're a parent who doesn't want your kid on YouTube all alone, they want them in Zoom, you can totally do that. We have our Zoom room open, and we do have the ability so that we can take comments and questions live during the Zoom room. And you can get that through patreon.com/rosieresearch, and that supports what we're doing here. And it's just $1 a week as the base support. You can add more if you want, but $1 a week gets you all of the templates, it gets you into our Zoom room, and it helps support the science that we're doing through the summer and into next year as we crush distance learning and make it super fun. It's been a really good time, so I really hope that if you are just learning about us and just joining us, that you come and tune in as often as possible. And I also hope you guys are having a good summer. We got to hit up the beach yesterday, which was amazing, and we got to go out in floaties, and a crab crawled up my leg, which was, I don't know if that was the highlight or the low light. It was like the ultimate mid-light.
It was pretty silly.
It was a little scary. Well, not scary, but a little like shocking. Shocking might be the right word. It was fun though. We had a good time. So I hope you are also enjoying your summer. All right, I'm going to talk a little bit about what we need, and these are the supplies that we need all summer long for our paper circuits projects. And so if you just get them on Amazon, they'll deliver them to you. You'll be set up all summer. You can also get a lot of the stuff at your local stores if you want to go to like Walmart or Safeway or Ace Hardware. Those will all work to get some of the supplies, but it's always easier if you buy it in bulk. Because paper circuit projects, you don't want to like have just one battery and then you have to like swap it out of your projects. You want to be able to light up your whole room, and that requires lots of little batteries. All right, so what we need is we need some LEDs. These are single color LEDs, but I also have some rainbow LEDs in here. And if you were just buying your LEDs, I would definitely suggest getting like a pack like this where it's all different colors and also some rainbow, because rainbow is amazing. Everybody, well, most people like rainbow. I love rainbow. You will need some CR2032 batteries to power your projects. So these you can get at the grocery store. They're little coin cell batteries. They're 3 volts, so if you can't find the 2032s, there are other ones out there that are almost the same. They're also 3 volts. Size-wise, they look similar. They just might last longer or not as long, depending on if the battery actually looks smaller or bigger than this one. But we just use the 2032s. I buy them by the 100. So no worries if you're like, do I really need 100? Yes, trust me. Especially if you have more than one child at home making these projects, you really need 100. It's kind of crazy. You need some non-conductive tape. So this is the tape that you use around your house all the time. It's Scotch tape, it's masking tape, it's duct tape. Today I've got some washi tape because we ran out of our other tapes. And you need some conductive tape. So this is copper tape. You can find it at your garden store. It has that coppery color. And you can also get like aluminum foil tape. That will work, or you can just use aluminum foil. So Hassan was on here and he asked, I think last week, if you could do it without any sort of special tape. And you can make your wires with aluminum foil and you have to tape them down. It's just a little trickier. And if you're just learning, it's like that extra step that makes it a little harder. You don't actually need aluminum foil for our projects, but I have it here because aluminum foil is a really great and easy way to fix your paper circuits if you're having trouble. So I use like teeny bits of aluminum foil a lot, just as quick and easy fixes that work really, really well. They're very effective. You need a pair of scissors to cut things out, and then you need some stuff to punch holes with. So I just have like a skewer, maybe you have like a push pin from your bulletin board, and then like a pencil, and you can widen that hole that you already started. And of course you will also need our templates if you don't want to try to make your paper circuits freehand. These templates come into your email inbox. We have the overall post every week that will give you all of the templates you need for the week. And then I think Evan also sends out the template each day as we go live on the videos. I print mine on a cardstock because the cardstock's just sturdier, and I really like the way it makes my projects feel at the end. My projects last a little longer. You don't have to, but I always suggest just grabbing a ream of cardstock on Amazon as you grab the other stuff, and you'll be good to go. And that is all you need to have an awesome summer with us. And we are making great projects. We made our bracelet this week. We made our crown so far today. You guys have the choice of making like a power arrow that's going to be an LED arrow tip, or a flower that you can make that will be a flower, and you can make that into a hairpiece. You can make it like you could glue it on a headband, which I think would be really cool. You could maybe put it on a pen. There's lots of things. You could put a stem on it with like a little wood stick, and you could put it in a vase. So there's a lot of options of what we can do with today's projects to light up your life. I'm excited to see what you guys do. But before we get started, I do want to see who's here and say hello to all of our friends that have joined us.
Do you recommend regular or cardstock for today's? Because it's a little bit lighter weight.
Today is a little bit lighter. I kind of always recommend cardstock just because when you put your paper circuit on it, it really sticks a lot better. So unless we're doing like the paper circuit airplanes, which you can't fold as well, I feel like it makes those circuits, all the spots stick in place, and the legs of the LED are happier. I don't know, it just always has felt to me like when I teach my classes, kids are much more successful on the thicker paper. That's why I go for the thicker. You can always do it on regular paper. That's totally fine. Yeah. All right, who do we have?
Well, we have some people in there, but only Naomi has said hi. So hi, Naomi.
Hello, Naomi. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're with us again today. I can't wait to see which one you choose. And other people who might be there. Oh, I know people I have to say hello to because they're at summer camp. So I want to say hi to Rohan and Venetia at summer camps, and I want to say hello to Zoe and Brody and Chase because I know sometimes they watch us on Patreon and we don't always get their comment over here in time. And Tamsin and Laurel I want to say hello to because they're at summer camp. And Ellie and John, and also Hassan, who I have heard has been there but hasn't been saying hello in the comments. Sneaky. But I'm saying hello now just in case you come later. All right, my friends, so let's get started. The first part of either of these projects are going to be to cut them out. Now, your flower piece actually came with a bunch of other of these flower pieces that were printed on the same page. I've just already gone ahead and cut mine out because that would be kind of boring for you guys to watch me cut for like 10 minutes. So these are the guys that we have the circuits on that we really need to cut out. So the first thing we'll do is we will cut them out. And I am going to do both of them for you guys so that you guys can see it's the exact same circuit on them, but just so you can see them get made, and that can help you. And when you cut, you want to cut around the thick black line. Georgia has already done all of her cutting.
Looks like she's made a dragonfly.
Ooh, she's made a dragonfly. That's pretty. See, look at all these things. Actually, Georgia had this funny idea. I loved it. So we're doing an arrow as maybe like the more powerful version, if you want a powerful version. And Georgia saw the circuit. She said, oh, I'm going to make a bow, like a hair bow. And I was like, that's super cute because it's like a bow and arrow. So you don't even have to make a flower. You could apparently make a flower or a hair bow type of a thing or a dragonfly like Georgia's making. You got a lot of options here.
Yeah, I'm gonna make
and we'll have one part that lights up.
I mean, we can also just like, we tape this one on and we can untape it too.
Yeah, you could use it as like something that you could really change what it looks like if you keep all the parts. But I know sometimes paper parts sort of go by the wayside. All right, so I have cut out around that thick black line. I'm going to do the same thing for the arrow. So just this thick black outer line is what we want to cut around. And that will give us sort of this basis of a piece that we can fold up into an arrow. And when I'm cutting, if I have like sharp corners like this, I usually like to try to cut a little bit further if possible. So I always sort of cut up extra, and I can cut over extra, and that helps me get nicer things. And also in these crevices, like what I'm at right now, I don't have to make this really sharp turn inside of that. I could come in from a different angle and just snip it out like that. So if you have trouble cutting sometimes, that is one way you can do that. Georgia, I see you have your hand up. Tell me, what's your question?
Do we get one of those?
Ooh, you can make one of these too, but I'd have to print you a different paper, so maybe later would be a good time.
Okay.
All right.
Like on Zoom?
Yeah. So the thing that we do after we cut our things out is we always want to pre-fold our projects. So these gray dotted lines right here are our pre-folds. So basically we've got a triangle that folds up here towards the other triangle. That's if you're doing the arrow. I'm working on pre-folding this arrow right now. We have one triangle that sort of folds up. Once you get it in place, I like to really press hard. And then this will also fold in, so that you'll notice a square is in there, so all these triangles fold in. And the way that you know it folds in is because I try to make all of our templates so that they fold towards the paper circuits. And then this last fold is a square, and there's actually 2 folds on it, and that's to get over the thickness of the battery. So you have one that's sort of right there, and then one that's really close to it, and it'll make it sort of step up a little bit towards the battery. So that guy sort of rises up a little bit for that double fold. And then what we have is this will actually fold this way, I think. And then what we'll have, oh no, these guys fold this way. This is the one time I knew there was something different about this template. They actually fold, the triangles fold backwards this time. And then the circuit will be on the bottom right there. And then we'll get this nice little pyramid, and that'll be our arrowhead, and you could attach an arrow to it if you wanted to. So that's that one. And then our flower, our folds, we're gonna fold the petals sort of up so that our flower doesn't lay completely flat, unless you like a completely flat flower. And then we also have those 2 really close folds right here that also allow it to sort of get over the top of the battery. So it'll have sort of this clamshell type of a look in the fold. Just like that. All right, and then we need, just like a cap, yeah. Now we need to punch a hole where we're gonna put our LEDs. So these black little circles are kind of where you wanna put your LEDs. I've got this metal guy that's really, it makes it easy to start them. So you can just poke a quick little hole in it, and then you can widen that hole really easily with a pencil, or I have like a sort of a wooden dowel that you can use to push through this hole. I just twist it as I go, and it sort of makes that hole much bigger. And if you want this paper to be on the inside, you can sort of push through from the prettier side like that. All right, and that gives us a little space to put our LEDs through. Just like that. All right, so now we're all cut, we're all folded, and we've got our hole where we're gonna put our LED at. We are ready to wire it up. So I'm gonna get out Curious George right here so we can tape Curious George up. George, I'm gonna move some of your stuff over this way.
Yeah, that's fine.
And let me tape it up. I got some awesome alien washi tape today. So I'll tape this on here. And I'm gonna do the flower one first, and then I'll also show you guys the arrow circuit so you can see them both depending on which one you've chosen to do today. They're really little circuits. They're not that big, so that's kind of handy. Here's some copper tape for you, Georgia, if you're ready to do it. And I'm going to show you some tricks with copper tape because I know we have a couple new patrons who are here and joining us. And the first trick is maybe not really a trick. The first thing is learning how to get this copper tape peeled off the white backing. And you just got to use your nail. You've got to figure out it. You got to press. You got to smush. The more you do it, the better you'll get at it. All right. So don't get discouraged. It takes a little bit at first. Takes a little patience. But the more you do it, the better you'll get. And the second thing is, anytime you have copper tape and you have a long piece, it's right there, you don't want to peel it all the way off like I'm doing. Right now it looks great, totally usable, but the second that it comes off, it gets all curly-cuey, and that's really hard to manage and put onto your template. So that is not going to work for us.
And also, if you just peeled off that long piece, it wouldn't be able to fit. It would just go.
Georgia has another thing. Yeah, we like to measure. So if I'm doing sort of this tiny little piece, I don't need this long piece peeled off. I can just do a little piece. You could either pre-rip it. You can rip copper tape with your fingers pretty easily. Or you can start it and you can rip it while it's on your project.
It's like Hassan joined us.
Oh, hello Hassan. I'm so glad you're back with us. All right, so the short leg is pretty easy. We're just gonna go straight on down. Make sure that you have your copper tape going down instead of coming up. All right, you wanna have that copper tape following where you're going. And we're just gonna press it at the top. And we'll press it down right here. And we want to make sure we get into that green circle right there. And you can just rip it off inside the green circle. So don't go out of the green circle. And don't just barely get in. You really need to get into that green circle, because that's what's going to touch the bottom of our battery. And now our long leg is this tiny little L. So I can start here. And then when I get here, if this is your first time with copper tape, we don't want to rip it and start a new one. That's because these little electrons that are going to light up our LEDs, they have to drive on highways. And if we have two highways that are sort of at different levels, the cars can't get from one level to the other very easily. So we want to make sure that instead of two levels, we have like sort of an on-ramp that goes from one to the other. And the way we do that is by bending and folding our copper tape. So when you get to a corner, what I like to do is I give myself extra, and then I pull it away. So I want to go down. So I'm going to pull my copper tape sort of up like that. See how it just really quickly went up? And then I'll take this with my extra and I'll just push it down somewhere else along that line. So it doesn't have to happen right at that bend. I can go a little further, and then I can just break it there, and I can press this down. And this little bit goes over my template, and that's okay. I can just bend that down like that. And I am good to go right there. Beautiful. Ooh, George, I'm going to let you try for just a second, and we'll see, okay? I always like to let people give it extra tries, because sometimes I think that's the best way we learn. We learn through the struggle. Yes! Perfect, Georgia. See, she learned through the struggle. All right, so for our LED, oh, hers broke, but that's okay. She can try again, and then I can help her after. So we're going to stick our LED in through the bottom, and I need to make sure that I have my short leg going straight down onto the battery and my long leg going up over this way onto this L-shaped piece of tape. That's really important, so our LEDs have one short leg and one long leg. So I'm going to make mine do the splits so that I've got my short leg coming straight down, and my long leg is going to come up, and I'm going to send it over.
It's not working.
Georgia is having some trouble with hers, and that's okay. We will get it figured out. So I've got my LED like that, and now I need to tape it in. Alright, so I'm going to tape each of these legs in. Here is the tricky part of this circuit, and it's super tricky. We can't tape just straight over this because there won't be anything that touches the battery. Alright, really we're going to tape in the short leg of our circuit. And we're going to tape it in. I'm actually going to cut my short leg. Maybe I could just bend it back on itself. I'm going to make it bend in a loop. So it's bent back on itself, and I can tape it in to that little piece of copper tape there. Just like this. Like that. Yeah, give me 1 second, please. I'm going to leave my other one open. And I want to make sure that that leg is pressing down. If you're worried that this short leg is not meeting it, what you can do, I'd love to show you guys this right now, is you guys can take a little tiny piece of foil and you can fold it up like this, and underneath that tape, what you can do is you can press the foil onto the leg underneath that tape, just like this. So now you have like a copper tape foil sandwich. That's the bread, and then you've got your LED leg. And that can really help the success of your project. That's one of the first things I always recommend if you find that your LED legs aren't making good contact. And I'm a little worried about that because we have some like washi tape that's like 10 years old. So I'm not sure how well this is going to stick today. Hang on, Georgia, you're being super patient. I appreciate that. I'm just going to add another piece of tape here. I don't think my washi tape is sticking very well today. Alright. I'm going to help Georgia. I can show you guys again really quickly how to make that corner. This is a tricky one because it's so small. You don't have much space. So I'm going down this time, and I want it to go towards my left, so I pull it the opposite direction. I just pull that copper tape the opposite direction, and then I can stick it down. Ah! Just like that. Alright, so hers is all ready to keep going. Although she is in coloring mode, which I think is great, because we have a lot of coloring to do for this one. Alright, so we don't actually really even need to put in our, tape in our LED leg on the top. We just need to tape it in on the bottom. And what we'll do is we'll put our battery in so we can see these letters. And what we can do first is just pinch it and see if it turns on. So mine turns on just at a pinch, which is perfect. And then what we'll do is we need to tape that battery in. Hang on just a minute, please, Georgia. All right, so I'm going to tape this battery in. Ooh, I've got some new plastic electrical tape that just got air delivered from Evan. Thank you, Evan. Very much appreciated. And again, with these tapes, any of these non-metallic tapes will work as our non-conductive tape. All right, so I've got some electrical tape here. So I'm going to tape it in just around the edges. I want to look at where does my leg end? My leg ends here, so I don't want to tape over this part. I could tape over on the other side, just to make sure that I don't sort of get in the way of what I am wiring up. All right. You could cut your tape on these edges, or you could fold the tape around. It's more of a design choice. It's up to you. I think I actually only need one piece of tape here. And then, hang on, Georgia. And then what we can do is when we close this, our little LED lights up. And what you can do is you can press your LED in to get it lined up the way you want it to. And you just got to find out where you want to press it at. And you should be able to take some tape around the top. And you can hold it in place. If not, like mine's not quite right there, you could also use magnets. Magnets are, I love to use the magnets because they're super happy and they kind of put that pressure that your finger would push. Or you could put a clip right there. All right. And if you are making the flower, what you would do from here is you're going to stack up your other flower pieces behind it. So let's say I want it to go this way.
I have a question.
Yep, just a minute, Georgia. So I can, and you can tape these in place. You could hot glue. I would suggest hot gluing them, to be honest. But you could tape over each one as you go. And you can see how this is sort of building up a flower. And I would suggest doing what Georgia is doing, which is coloring these petals in first.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say.
Because that will make it a little easier for your project in the end.
Yeah, because that was what I was going to say.
That's what you were going to say. That was your suggestion. Mm-hmm. It's a good suggestion.
You should, because then it'll be like, how do I do this?
Mm-hmm.
It'd be really frustrating.
And I'm just sort of pinching these to curl them a little bit as we go. And you can spread them out. And if you needed, you could always add more. But you can see how this is sort of building up a beautiful flower spot. It's hard to hold all at once. So you would want to either tape these in place or hot glue them sort of in a pattern together. And then here, just to turn it off, you would just flip this top piece up. So if I took off the tape here, I could turn off my flower by just flipping that top piece up, and it's off. So that's a great and easy way to have a switch and a really cool flower. I have some petals that are slipping, but you guys will be able to have time and do a really good job on that to make this a beautiful LED flower. And then from there, you could either put it on a pen, you could put it on a headband, you could grab a stick and add a stick so you could put it into a vase. Those are all sort of fun things that you could do. Maybe even if you want like a big necklace, you could do that. Lots of options. All right, so that is how you make the flower part of today's project. If you don't like flowers and you wanted to make something a little different, we have the arrow available for you. So I'm going to show you guys real quick how to make that arrow. And so I'm going to tape this guy up. It's the same kind of plan that we just did. You'll notice it's the exact same circuit. So our short leg is nice and straight right here, just like this. Our long leg is that L. So again, we can go over. And then when I get to this bend, I can give myself extra. I can pull it up like that, and then I can just sort of go down. And even before I press it, you can see how it sort of made that bend for me. And then I press it down anywhere I want to, which gives me a gorgeous fold. And I just cut it off down there. I like to flatten things out with my thumb because that makes things a little bit easier. And then you can decide what color do you want your arrow. You want it to be a fire arrow? Do you want an ice arrow? Do you want a rainbow arrow? All of those things are great options. I'm going to make a fire arrow because I think those are fun. So I'm going to make a fire arrow. You could do an electric shock arrow if you're a Zelda fan. With a green one, that would be cool. All right, so once I poke it through, again, I do want to make sure I look at where's my short leg, where's my long leg. The short leg's going to go straight down into that green circle.
Do I fold this way?
And my long leg goes straight up. Yep. And then I'm going to fold this long leg over like this so that it can make better contact with that battery. And then the short leg, I'm thinking that I'm going to make it do like a big hairpin U-turn so that it sort of just comes straight back up on itself. So all I've done is I've actually folded that short leg in half. All right. Just like that. And again, if you're worried about it contacting,
Should I do rainbow?
if you'd like to do rainbow, then what you can do is you can fold up a little piece like this of foil and you can put it down right there, and then you can put a little piece of tape on it. So maybe I put a little piece of this green non-conductive tape, which I like better for these types of things just because it's stickier. It makes things go in better. Make sure you don't connect these two lines. You want to keep them separate. So I want to, instead of putting it there, I want to make sure it goes sort of down and separate. And then I can tape that in just like that. I do want to make sure when I tape it in, I don't tape over the top of that piece that goes into the green circle. You can press in really good. We're going to try this one with the green. And then we'll test it. So you're going to put your battery in the green circle so you can see those letters. And then we're going to fold it up onto itself like that. And I just saw it blink for a moment, but then it stopped. Oh, there we go. So the question is, I wonder what's going on. Ooh, and I see it. My foil actually here that I added is a little bit touching the sides of the battery, and the sides of the battery here are actually considered the top. So if you were to look at your battery, there's a bottom piece, and then the top is like, definitely like a little hat. It goes down on the sides. So if you're touching the sides, you're also touching the top. If you have a problem like that, what we can do is just take a little tiny piece of tape and cover that up so that it's not touching on the sides. And then we can try again and see if that helps it work better. And it's definitely easier to make it glow. So that was a little problem I had just there, but it wasn't too bad. We were able to solve it by making sure that the short leg did not touch the sides of that battery. And so I'm going to tape my battery in just like I did last time.
This?
Yep. And you can, if you're having trouble, you can ask Evan. He can ask me to go over a part that maybe you need to see again. Or we can also see you in our Zoom room. Either works. So I'm going to cover up my battery. I'm going to cover up just the last little side part.
Do you know where my battery is?
Oh, I think I'm using it. So I'll give it to you when we get into Zoom, okay? I'm borrowing it for this second project. All right, so we have the tape here like that.
Can I go get my own?
And then we want to double check again. When I flip it up, does it work? And it does. And I wanted my LED to be on the inside, so I can fold these triangles up. And it'll be on the inside, so I get this very cool fire arrow, which I love. And we just need to tape them together. You could tape it just the tip, or maybe hot glue just the tip if you like the light sort of coming out these edges. Or if you wanted to, you could tape along those edges to make it more of a pyramid. And then all you have to turn it off is this part opens up, closes down when it's on, and then you'll put a stick there if you want it to be an always on type of a thing. Or like not an always on. If you want an arrow, and then you can put tape around it to keep it on, which will work great. And those are our two projects for today. So some pretty simple circuits on the back, except for they're little, and sometimes those little ones are really hard to do because it's just a tiny little bit of tape here and a tiny little bit of tape there. One of the tricks we definitely use, notice we did not tape in our long leg today. All right, that is unusual for us, and that's because we just need the long leg to touch the top of the battery. And if I put tape here, I'd also be covering where it touched the battery because it's such a small little area. So we skipped taping that in, so you want to make sure that you also skip taping the long leg in, and then the short leg we did tape in one little spot. And that is our project. I want to say thank you guys so much for joining us today. I'm going to check in with Evan and make sure we don't have any questions on YouTube. He says no. Fantastic. So we will head over into our Zoom room where we can see your guys' projects and help you guys if you're having trouble making or decorate together. And a reminder, on Friday, which is in just 2 days, so get ready, we have our talent show in Zoom. I'm expecting to see a lot of good things. I've heard there's going to be piano, there's going to be a recorder. I hear Brody might play the trombone for us. I'm hoping I see some dances, maybe some skits. We'll see what happens, but just know Friday we are having a talent show. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow we are making some necklaces. They can either be a kryptonite crystal that glows, or it could be a cool necklace that glows that turns you into a mermaid. Whatever you decide you'd like it to be. It's going to be a fun little box that will fold together with an LED and a circuit inside of that. And then on our last day, on Friday, we're going to make a little LED ring, which will be really fun to make and wear around. And we're going to have like the best outfits for whatever occasion comes up next. All right, I will see all of you, my friends, on YouTube tomorrow at 9 a.m. for our next class. And our Zoom friends, I will see you over there right now. Have a good one.
Mama, I like how they can everything that I would have picked.